Hey, lovely people. Good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies and gents. How are we doing?
I'm good.
We good?
I'm good. I love the hat. It's very steampunk.
Yes, yes, yes. And if you know me, you know I'm all about the time. It's important. Good morning to the lovely listeners out there. I want to give a shout out to you for tuning in to Shop Talk with Mel. Remember, you can find us on all podcasts free, your favorite podcast, whichever one is Shop Talk with Mel. Shop Talk is one word. And if you want to look at us, you can go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Okay, get your girl up there, monetize, monetize, monetize.
Hey,
Hey, listen, you know what? Speaking of monetization, let's get this out the way. Holla, Grandma Holla, the internet grandma, she has passed away. And I missed you guys last week. I'll say that too. I was in Louisiana. I was feeling like Beyonce. Walking down Canal Street, I had that lemonade, that formation. Song in my head, like, then I put the lid on, I placed the crown down. I was like, I gotta get this lid. This lid is everything. So did my thing. So I missed you guys last week, but that's all right. We got you covered. We got my girl AmberDee in the building. We got Nyk the Voice in the building. So let's just give it up real quick. I missed you, lovely people. I truly, truly did. Now, let me hurry up. Grandma Holla. I mean, that was my girl on the internet, and they dogging the granddaughter because she put up a GoFundMe. Yeah, she put up a GoFundMe because her grandma, she passed in 97, and you could see that her declining, but she loved her lives. She did everything she wanted. She was so much fun. And the granddaughter put up a GoFundMe. But I have to say this, and it does seem like, okay, 97, she should have had insurance, blah, 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 da, da, da. And they're giving the granddaughter like all kind of flack. All kind of flack, like how you gonna put up a GoFundMe? She was monetized and all this other stuff. But let me say this part of it. Remember, she was the granddaughter. She probably, and I'm just speaking, she probably thought she had insurance. She had living children. Her children were still living. So the granddaughter is taking care of the granddaughter is doing the live. And for people to attack Shell, shout out to Shell Bell, because that's what she called her, for even doing that. And to me, changing her life, because she was like, I'm up there with Oprah and Gail. She was excited. So, and with that being said, y'all already know I'm all about motivation and inspiration. So it's never too late. She's a prime example of it's never too late to become a celebrity. And her granddaughter did that for her. So when you're monetized, they do have like some people feel like, okay, well, they send you a tax form and then you're done. Well, now newly, by me being monetized now on some of the little platforms, okay, City Girls, some stars, they get your tax information now. Okay, so it's a little different. But I have to address this, the whole GoFundMe. They're like, I can't believe they didn't have insurance and blah, 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 blah. And when I was reading the comments, I said to myself, these people that's talking all this smack probably don't even have insurance. Because this is why I say that. 97, breast cancer. She didn't just get breast cancer. Who's covering her?
Exactly.
It's a lot of people that won't even cover you. Ask me how I know. I'm one. And it takes forever. And it's like, okay, well, let's see. You got to go to different companies. And here's what's crazy. I'm a type 1 diabetic. That's it. Now, the one dude, he was trying to give me like kidney disease. I said, I don't have that. Don't put that on me. I'm just a type 1 diabetic. I'm cool. Everything functioning. Thank God. But it was so hard for me to get insurance. Now, watch this. You have insurance. Most people have insurance and don't know, like with the term, it's up to 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll have to go and hope somebody cover you again. Mm-hmm. Now, that's what a lot of people don't know, because you're sitting there like, oh, I got insurance there. You go. 97 years old. So there's a lot of things that go into play. So when people talk and they're like, oh, I can't believe they didn't have insurance, either they're really, really healthy and didn't have those obstacles, or they're really knowledgeable about the term, and it terms out and it's like, okay, now I got to find somebody else. But make sure it does not term out after that 20 years. So it got to be like the day before it's getting ready to be, to expire, to be like, oh, okay, well, can you reevaluate and look at this? And all they're going to give you too, especially if you have an illness, is a burial policy. Now, if you look, listen here, my people getting stuff while I'm alive. Just give me a burial policy. Remember, I was telling you how hard it was for me to even get insurance. I'm like, ow. I try to remember. I think AmberDee, I was telling you too, Nick.
It was hard for me being a diabetic. It when you're like certain diseases, these insurances give you hell. They do. And like as soon as you say diabetic, sorry. Like,
and they're in the game. Insurances is in the game to get revenue, to gain revenue.
Right.
So you have to remember the objective. Now, I'm like, just give me a burial policy. That's all I want. I don't want all that. I'm not trying to make nobody rich. I'm not, none of that.
Right.
Like, I'm just trying to make sure that I don't leave a bill for you. You know what I mean? And then some people don't even care about leaving a bill. But with that, I wanted to just pray for the family, Michelle Williams and her family. I'm going to definitely say that because that's what we saw online. We don't know the other people that may have assisted, in the background. But you guys got to remember, this was her granddaughter. These wasn't her children. So she could have maybe not even known, probably just assumed she had it at that age, because we do that with older people. We feel like, oh, okay, they got insurance, all is well. Go ahead, what you got, AmberDee?
I'm wondering, like, where are her children? Like, my first thought was maybe she put up the GoFundMe prematurely, and okay.
It wasn't. It was after. After. And
after she figured out that she didn't have no insurance.
Right. So she put up a GoFundMe for $10,000.
Okay. So then I'm wondering, why couldn't the family generate 10,000? Or not even, why does it need to be 10,000? I feel like, 6, 8 out of like
10,000. Listen, I used to work everywhere. I used to sell cemetery plots. I sell cemetery plots at the cemetery. Okay, quit on Halloween, the night before Halloween. Okay, but just during my college days, trying to make some money and go to school. But 10,000 will give you like a nice one, because you can't really. What would you put somebody in the ground? And back then it was like 5,000-6,000, and that was back. I'm talking like 92, 93. So I don't know now, but I felt like asking for 10,000 was pretty cool. I was like, okay, she's just trying to have a service, but you still got to pay the preacher. You still got to pay, for the rental of the church. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're having a repass. So you have to pay for that. So she wasn't even asking for a lot, but I did see her live where she actually said, well, they said, go to social media, for the GoFundMe. So they're like pushing her to do it. And it's like, okay, I did this, but people need to understand this. A GoFundMe is just that. They're not making you do it, but I guess GoFundMe is a command instead of can you fund me?
Or instead of
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have the option to not donate.
Right. And I would feel like if you want to keep it classy, just scroll past it and ignore it. But I do feel like it's kind of weird, because I feel like I just recently attended a funeral. Like the family should pitch in, and if they have a home church, they probably can get a discount, or usually members of church. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it could be a potluck repass, like
a potluck repass.
You know what I'm saying?
You've been to the family cookout and they don't eat green beans till 9 p.m.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't understand why the family had to ask for, like why didn't the extended family or the immediate family have the funds? Or I don't know.
Because when I was, after watching it, she used to be a teacher. She's 97. She retired a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So, and the family probably don't have it, and that's why she'll even say this was the best time of her life, the stuff that she went through. So I'm just gonna say they're not of means, but those who were able to actually donate and get it done. And I mean, you just don't know. Even though people feel like, well, why didn't they take some of that money if they knew, if she knew that she didn't have insurance? I just feel like she probably didn't, because you just
didn't. Exactly.
A lot of people just assume like, okay, they older, they got insurance. Listen here, baby. If
you know what they say about assuming.
Well, yes, but watch this. You have a lot of older people, and this is factual. It happened. You have a lot of older people who had insurance and paid the parlor, I'm dating myself, the funeral home, and they bellied up. So it was paid in full. Then now it's no longer, and stuck. And it's like, oh wait, what do you mean they don't have insurance? And without putting my personal out there, I was like, no, she paid. I know she paid, and I'm a granddaughter. But the company bellied up, so all her money was gone. So even if you try, like, okay, well, I'm gonna pay this in advance. So you try to be on, have everything together and be on point. But things change. So I'm not one to judge when they do like the GoFundMe and stuff like that happens. Here's the thing: we all have a choice. There's an option. Now her. The handle is Lottery, Frappe, and Laughs. They were like, all that money that was coming in, we saw it. She spent it on lottery and her frappes, her frappes that she liked from McDonald's, and we got our laughs. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing: you saw it, and then people was writing letters and saying what they wanted their money to go to. So come on, guys, like, stop saying the girl taking it, it's a fraud. Blah, 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 blah. Y'all didn't even know her. Y'all logged in. That's how y'all know her. It was funny, and I definitely have to give my prayers to Maya, which is her great granddaughter, because that's who was like right there with her, which was the funny part. And a lot of people had an issue. So just praying for that family overall, because it was something. And it felt like once she became a sensation, it was like, oh, wait, what is this? The money come in. People, it's different. Life is different. And you be like, man, I thought we were okay.
Yeah, look at the price of eggs nowadays. Life is certainly different.
Girl, I want to buy the pizza. I haven't been to Bellaria. Shout out to Bellaria. I haven't been to Bellaria in a long time. Haven't been there in a long time, maybe about 5 years. But I said, let me go ahead and get a pizza. What's a pizza meal? It's a small little pizza. Total was $10 for this pizza. So if you know me, I got to make sense of it. So in my mind, I said, okay, maybe this is 2 slices of pizza at a game. I would pay $5 for a slice of pizza at a game. So I was okay with it, but I had to ask the person when he told me $10.40. I said, is it eggs on there? He said, huh? That's what he said to me. He was like, eggs? I said, yeah, is it eggs on that pizza? And he was like, well, I was like, because you said $10, it's like this big. I'm not maybe about like that big. I was like, no, for real. And he started laughing. He was like, oh, okay, yeah, quite expensive.
Bellaria, that was my pizza place right there.
And it was a pizzette.
Wow.
It wasn't pizza. It was a pizzette. And what was it? Before you can get like, what is it, 8 slices for like $10? What was that, a 12-inch? So yeah.
I can imagine what it costs now.
Times have definitely changed. So what did you guys do while I was in Nolans? What did y'all do last weekend?
I was trying to come visit you since I'm only 5 hours away, but that computer in my car had a mind of its own.
Okay, that's that'll blow a weekend. What did you do, AmberDee?
I feel like I didn't do nothing. I feel like I'm just existing over here.
That's not a good thing.
I know, right? Yeah, but just the same old, just housekeeping, laundry.
So you just chilling.
Just chilling.
Oh yeah, I just chilled. I rested and visited friends for the weekend.
So you had a good time. That's a good thing. I ran into some coffee. There's something at this hotel, right? And I couldn't figure out, like, being from Ohio, the weather does its thing. When we got there, it was 80 degrees. But this hotel, they had some house coffee, right? I'm a tea drinker. So I didn't want to try this house coffee once I found out the name of this house coffee. It was called Wake the F Up. I said, I better not try that.
Sounds strong.
Let me start slow. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't try it, but then they had the bags of it, and I was like, should I buy that and bring it back? But I don't want to be charged if somebody off the Richter scale. You know how they do it. These people beat an OD, they charging the people that gave it to them. I don't want no parts, and I don't want to be held responsible if you can't handle your coffee, right? So I was like, I better not try it. But here's the thing that I noticed. Everybody was awake and moving, right? Everybody was awake and moving. Like here, I'm sitting there like, in Ohio, like, I'm so sleepy. But up there, everybody was moving. I probably slept maybe 3 hours a night.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like
constantly on
the go, having a ball though.
Mm-hmm.
What did I do? Walk across the street to go get some beignets or something, whatever they call. I was just like being in the hustle and bustle of things. The music was going. It was just the energy was there. And I was happy to see that, especially post-COVID. Well, I ain't going to say post-COVID because it's still there. But the girl had her mask on too, though. And I was like, oh, I need some fresh air too. Let me get some of this Louisiana fresh air. I did have the food. And that's what I went for, honestly. I was like, the food was my thing. Let me get my stuff. Let me get my food. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And they did have some places that had healthy food, but I wasn't there for the healthy food.
Girl, say you was on vacation. Forget healthy.
Well, I was on business. I was on business. It was business. That wasn't vacation. Look, the vacation is when I'm chillaxing, like y'all said. I'm in classes and stuff like that, but I had a great time. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna take that away from me. We got to talk about this Martin Luther King statue. Let's get it going. Let's have a lot of fun. Let's get this show going, ladies.
Everything that happens is motivation. Everything that happens is motivation.
Hey, welcome back. You're listening to Shop Talk with Mel. Lovely people. Let's get some housekeeping out the way. If you want to call in and voice your opinion line, live, you can do so at 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. Call in and voice your opinion live. And you can also send texts. All right. I think my eye is messing up because I haven't had much sleep. Maybe that's it. I'm gonna go with that one.
That could be.
I'm like this. I can see y'all clear over here. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Sugar intact, though. Don't be concerned. Look, sugar levels was good. Sugar levels was good. All right. This here statue, Martin Luther King Jr. statue in Boston. Did you ladies get the opportunity to view it?
Yes, and I saw it from all angles. Somebody posted the picture of all angles, and then they posted the actual picture that the sculpture was done from. And it's like, okay, when you saw the actual picture of Martin Luther King and his wife hugging, then it's like, oh, okay, I see it now. But at first, I was like, what kind of freaky mess is this? What they doing?
Yeah, that freaky mess. Okay, then. Go ahead. What you got, AmberDee?
Yeah, I saw the same thing. And as a creative and an artist, like I respect the sculptor. You know, it was a huge project for them. I'm just kind of over the symbolic gestures, and I would rather see tangibles for the community, because that sculpture was a whole lot of money for that city, and I feel like that money could have get put to better use.
Right?
I want, in the Black community or the Black population for that city.
How do you even know who it is?
Yeah, it was.
That's where I was at. How do you even know who it is? Like, time goes on, and it's like, this is what you're telling me. I got to find the photo to see where else, even though his children, somebody in the family had to okay it. What did you see, Nick, when you just looked at the sculpture walking down the street?
Ooh, child, listen. My mind went immediately to the gutter, so we not good.
We want to hear it. Come on now, this is a talk show. Let's talk about it.
Child, listen, from the one angle, it looked like somebody holding up somebody's behind,
Okay.
in your face.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there going, that don't look right. Now, how are they depicting that to be Martin Luther King? But yeah, it made sense.
The embrace, all right.
Huh?
I said the embrace, all right. That's what it's called.
It was an embrace when I first seen it, but that wasn't the type of embrace that I was thinking at first. Like, wait a minute. Yeah.
Go ahead. What you got, AmberDee?
I think from certain angles, to me, it was like, it doesn't make sense, but it was kind of giving a fellatio vibe. And
there you go.
I was like,
AmberDee to bring it home.
Abstract aliens, tentacle thing. I don't know. It just got weird. I was like, what is happening? I'm so scared.
Okay, you're like, this is supposed to be part of history. Why am I thinking that?
Right.
Yeah. So
that's our boy Sigmund Freud. There's something to it. Something to it. He said it.
Yeah.
I saw fellatio. I saw the embrace. The one angle looked like somebody's hugging somebody's head.
Okay.
Look at it again. It's sad. Let me tell you why it's sad. Because the other statue, like, what is Martin Luther King known for?
His speeches and his marches.
Okay. You agree, AmberDee?
Yes.
Look at the statue in Washington. They ain't even showing his feet. This man is known for marching. And we don't even see his feet in none of these. Like, come on. And this is an embrace with him and his wife. And can we just get a whole body sculpture? I want to see his shoes. I want to see his shoes. I just want to see his shoes.
Yeah.
Can I see his feet? He known for marching. And like, if you look at the one in Washington, it's like, I guess it's off at the knees.
I thought it was supposed to be like coming out of the stone or something like that.
Out of the stone. Yeah. He already came out. He came out. That's why they done murdered the man. Okay.
Yeah.
Assassinated the man. Like, come on. And how come this one couldn't be?
I feel like if this is one of those things where like it would have been so beneficial to get more input from the community and the people that are going to be looking at it every day.
Versus his family.
Versus, like this, what I'm saying? Versus just his family. Because I think people felt some type of way about the public reception of the sculpture. And it's like, well, if you would have talked to people, you would have got a bigger, took a wider net of input and opinion. You wouldn't have had the kind of unfavorable response that it's getting.
I got to say this. Here's the thing, and I hate these things. I've been talking about that Dwayne Wade and his own. Now I'll be like, But here's the thing. They should just say the man that marched, because they're trying to exclude him instead of like schools and stuff and roads all in the hood, Martin Luther King Jr. Street, Boulevard, and we know that's all running through the hood. It's like, why are you? It's almost like, let's eliminate him. Like, we don't want to give him that credit. You know what I mean? This is just my thoughts. So as time goes on and we see what's happening with this newer generation, it's like, forget the past. Let's just erase it and let's go with what we're going with right now. This is what we're going to learn. This is what we're going to teach you. That's probably why I can't see these LED lights and stuff like that. I'm still stuck on that. I'm like, what you trying to? I'm woke. They're trying to put me back to sleep. Like, okay, we're gonna dim it a little bit so she can see what's really going on. Give me a regular light bulb, please.
Incandescent.
Yeah, that's what I need. I don't need these progressives, none of that. I'm good. But the it makes me wonder, like that's called the embrace. So you guys can look it up. Look it up after the show so we can keep shop talking up in this mug. Look it up and then tell me what you see. I didn't want to put that in there or project like what I'm thinking, like my head is in the gutter. Nyk, your head wasn't in the gutter by itself. And I was looking to see. I was like, okay. I was like, this looks a little weird. Like, and I'm wondering, like, just the adults, children probably looking like, oh, what is that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, are we trying to eliminate them? Like, come on.
It's too abstract. It was, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know, you've seen people do this with artwork online where it's like you zoom in so far, you lose context. And it's intentional, right? And it's just like, okay, you zoomed in so far this picture. Now nobody knows what you're talking about, what you mean, what it's supposed to be. And you mad because
you got to do the research. Context. It's like, let's do the research in this microwave society. Who's going to actually go and look up like, okay, what is this? Speaking of research, let me say this real quick. And Martin Luther King Jr., happy birthday. A lot of people don't know where Stevie Wonder's happy birthday song came from. And that was once they made Martin Luther King's birthday a national holiday.
Oh.
That's why he actually did it and did that song. So while you singing the Stevie Wonder version, that's where it derived from. I just got to give it to you like I do.
Learn something new.
Just a little bit, but you got to do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when the song came out right around the time. So yeah.
Would they? Okay.
I'm dating myself, but yeah.
Because I'm sitting there like, where was I at? Look, I'm joking, but you guys can look that stuff up. And books are important. Don't Google everything because I'm gonna tell you something with the whole Google thing. Everything on there is not factual because we could put some stuff out there and you'd be like, oh, wait a minute, then you get all confused. So cross-reference, that's important. Cross references, that is important. All right, Stephen A. Smith, y'all know Stephen A. Smith, right? Y'all know him, the commentator. Yes. Why you mad at him?
I don't like him.
I'm not a man.
Why? Because he said that Rihanna wasn't Beyonce.
His mouth is smart, period. He loud, he's sickening, and he just no.
Yeah, I don't like he has a very abrasive personality. I really don't like men who yell a lot. And then I feel like my first thought was typical of, you know, a certain man trying to pit two successful Black women against each other. That was my first. I saw that headline. That was literally my first thought.
He's a shit starter. Like,
and it's just like, why can't they just be great and respect the, you know what I'm saying? Respect each other, but you know, it's just like a pot stirring kind of.
Yeah.
But isn't that the objective? His name is buzzing. We talking about it.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I guess any attention is good attention. But,
not always.
Right. I'm not a fan of his. So, and I would comment that.
All right. So y'all don't like him. He all right. I've seen him. We went back and forth at some event. He was, you know, I had my questions and he was talking about what a woman needs or yeah. Oh yeah. This was, I think I was in Atlanta somewhere. And that's why I was shocked though. This is why I was shocked from this well, I guess not so much. He was talking about what a woman needs. And I have a problem with men saying what a woman needs. That's why I also have a problem with women who say what men need. And we as women tend to ask questions and we want the man to respond. And if we don't like their answer, we give them the answer. That's unfair. But he ended up talking about what a woman needs and this and that and blah, 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 blah. I was like, no, it sounds like what you need. And you just want a woman to comply. And I'm sure it's somewhere out there. I stepped up to the mic, you know, I'm talking. Then he was like, had to think about it. But he was talking about his relationship and how once he got larger, she wasn't fulfilling his needs. We're gonna go in a little deeper, but I wanted to get at people the backstory on what he said. He was saying that Rihanna wasn't, you know, Rihanna's doing the Super Bowl So I'm excited about that. I like her. And he was saying she wasn't Beyonce. I just find it. I love Beyonce, no doubt. Probably because she's a Virgo. So you have those who really don't like her, but who says that she's the all well. You know what I mean? She is the one to beat, and it shouldn't be because they're two different genres. Rihanna is the bomb. Jay-Z brought Rihanna on. And I was like, yeah, he probably didn't know that. But I mean, to each his own. People like who they like. I like both of them totally different. You can't even compare the two to me. Two different people doing their thing. And I feel you on that. He shouldn't have, just doing that kind of puts two women against each other. But I will say this, the person who actually asked the question, and sometimes we just talk and we answer questions and people misinterpret things, i.e. the Martin Luther King Jr. statue. You know what I mean? We make it out to be what we believe because we as peopling, project our thoughts on the people. Now, I want to go back to what I was talking about with Stephen A. and some girl chat real quick. Why do we do that as females? Why do we ask the question, want the answer, and if we don't like the answer, we get upset? But when we're the ones that ask the question, go ahead.
I think it's a fishing expedition. And so when you're fishing, you're trying to catch a big fish. So when you're asking questions with an expectation of an answer or a particular answer, when you get a little minnow instead of a big salmon, you're going to be disappointed. So I think that questions are supposed to be about collecting data, and the human element of it is you're hoping the data is along a particular line. And so when it's not, then then all the negative emotions come in. So I feel like women ask questions to get information, but then also to hopefully have whatever it is they're hoping and wishing for be confirmed. So it's like a two-part intention.
All right, go ahead, Nick. What's your thoughts?
Do I do? Yeah, I think I do that. Oh, you know what? I really don't know why we do it. Like, I'm good for, like she said, fishing for answers to see what I'm going to get, especially if I already know the truth. So I'm going to ask you the question. And if you tell me something different, then yeah, I'm going to give you your answer. Negro, that's not it.
Don't get upset.
But you know what? You're not asking in that particular, and I've done that before too. You're not looking for the answer because you already have it. You're testing their integrity. You're testing to see if they're going to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, if they failed, then they failed. And I feel like people do that all the time when you're testing someone. And I feel like that's something I've grown out of. I feel like when you're like more immature when you're younger, testing kind of comes apart with dating, because I feel like men test women and women test men, so it's not just a gender specific thing. But when you kind of elevate onto a higher level and can maintain that for a little bit of time, you really try to intentionally get away from like testing people and just say, okay, I'm going to take whatever is presented to me at face value and not search for answers or do little tests and stuff. It's super annoying. So,
well,
I'm an
the whole test thing though, like, because you do have men out there. You're right, 100%. You do have men out there that will test the female to, I don't know, see if they'll do it. Like the whole fry thing. Remember the whole fry thing?
No.
Remember, dude asked me if I would make him some fries.
Oh yeah.
I failed this test, and your test was for me to say yeah, because she's not doing that.
Right, and I feel like it's so childish because instead of testing somebody, if there's something and it's a priority to you in dating, just ask them straight up. Like, like hypothetically, just be direct, Jesus. And then depending on their answer, it's like, okay, let me see if their actions are in alignment with their answers over the course of time. Not doing little tests. Like, I've been tested like that too, and it was a huge contributing factor to us breaking up. Like, Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I wonder if it's just to test the boundaries.
Well, I think these men, like I said, I've been on the receiving end. It's just to see, like, they're testing your character, but they're doing it in a negative context. They're setting it up for you to fail instead of, for you to succeed in their quote unquote test. And I think when women do it, it's with the intention, like Nyk was talking about, of more of a confirmation of whatever you already believe. And I feel like testing and dating is rooted in that. Like, whatever your test is for that person is rooted in whatever you already believe about that person or the opposite sex in general, or same sex, whatever you're dating. Whatever you already believe about your population that you're interested in.
Or do you think to see, I said the boundaries, and the reason I said the boundaries is because almost like a heads to tail type thing, like, am I going to lead this relationship, or, you know what I mean? Am I going to be the head and she'll be the tail? Because some people feel like, the head of the household, the way it's supposed to be. I'm using air quotes for the listening audience. What I said supposed to be. I think that maybe it might be that to see if you are the head of the household, but you asking for something to be done, but are you heading up this household is my question.
Right. And I feel like the testing I've experienced personally is like, it can't be a test, because if you were actually the man and, leading, you wouldn't even be asking me that hypothetical question, or the question that turned out to be fake or whatever. Like, I feel like on both parts it's rooted in insecurity. Because you're insecure with that man, or you don't feel secure enough to trust in whatever he's telling you, whatever statements he's claiming, or the man is insecure in his own manhood, so he needs to test you. And it's like a projection thing.
Okay. I can respect that. And that's a turn on or off?
Off. Huge off. It's a huge off.
It's a huge off. What you got, Nate?
I'm glad I don't have to worry about that now. I ask a question, it gets answered straight. He asks a question, I answer it straight. That's just it. Like, I don't
I
have
mean, not personally, just generally.
generally.
Yeah, generally.
If you want to stay pissed off, go ahead and keep testing. But yeah, like, generally, like she said, there comes a time where you just have to, like you said, let it go. Just let it go.
Ready, set, let it go. Like, I'm all in until I'm not.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And I think Nyk brought up a great point. I feel like there is an element on both sides of, being pissed off, of anger. I feel like there is, like, because I feel like it's usually like baggage, and then the testing and the emotion behind it is like some like resentment, some frustration, some bitterness, or whatever. Exactly. It's not a good thing.
I just said baggage because you're right. Because when I use that example, that's a great example to be using with the whole French fry, peel me some potatoes. Like, can you give me time? That's what I was looking at. Can you give me time, or would you do this for me? Hold on. If back to head in the household, I got to buy the potatoes, and you want me to cut them, clean them, and cook them. Like, this seems a little one-sided here. And when you were talking about testing your character, yeah, I see that too. Or is it going to be a tug of war? Should we let it go? Ready, set, let's do this or not?
Yeah.
But so the bag.
Funny thing about letting things go.
Wait, what did you say, Nyk?
That's the funny thing about letting things go. When you finally let baggage go, it's like such a weight lifted off of your shoulders. No matter what you are already facing, if you're still dealing with the same issues, when you let certain baggage go, everything else don't matter. It'll all fall in line.
And that's the truth.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the truth. You got to let it go. And it takes time. Now, here's the thing. Why do we, look, here's the thing. I'm just going to ask, I'm going to put it in the question form. Why do we tend to go back when we remember the hurt? Because, they say time heals. And I believe time does heal. It doesn't go, the hurt doesn't go all the way away because you're reminded of it. So the memory of the hurt is there, but time heals. And then you're like, okay, well, we're cordial now. Hey, how you doing? And then they want to come back. And some women don't remember because they're in a good place because they finally let it go. And then they don't remember how bad that hurt was to that extent, almost like childbirth. You'd be like, I know it hurt, but and you're not reminded until you getting ready to go into labor. Yeah, you'd be like, oh, this was it. I was like the same thing, like you're in a relationship and you're like, oh, okay. And we have to look at what's in front of us and be like, oh yeah, I'm not going back because the reason we split, that's why they say an ex is an ex for a reason. The reason we split is because I wasn't feeling good. And now I'm feeling good and I got myself together, which is probably what attracted him to you, in the first place. And then you gave in and then they're like, oh, I want that person back. And then you'd be like, oh, well, let's work on it. Let's see how. No. Go ahead. What you got?
Well, I think another component of this is keep in mind that you're coming back, they're circling back and you're healed and you're feeling good and you're up. They didn't help you get over the hurt. They may have even inflicted the hurt and then didn't even bother to help you get over it and move past it and get back into a strong, good place where you're actually happy with yourself and the world. And then they want to circle back after you done put all this emotional labor into healing your heart and like, oh, well, you're good now. Let's work it back out again. Let's try it again. And so it's just like, well, no, actually, you didn't even hold my hand or, go through the dark days of healing this heartbreak, this trauma or whatever that you inflicted on me. I had to do that healing work all on my own, and you didn't even try to give a helping hand. And now after you put in all that work and energy and time, then they want to circle back when the work is done. So I feel like that's a major reason why you should not give exes a second chance, because most of the time you have to truly heal by yourself.
Honey, listen. The only reason I have given a few exes a second chance is to inflict the same hurt on them. If I give you a second chance,
so because he wants to get the kid back.
You better run. You better say never mind. Because bad, listen. That is me. I'm sorry, that is me. I'm trying, like I always tell people, the Lord is working on me. But the only reason I have given certain people a second, depending on how bad they hurt me. Now, some of them just, man, go ahead, bye. We're not doing that. But the only reason I have given second chances to certain people, you best believe something is I got something coming. And yeah, just to inflict that same hurt and pain that you've inflicted on me.
Cold blood.
So you on some get back? Did I hear you was on some get back?
Uh-huh.
How's that working? Like, does that work for you?
Sure do.
Oh no.
I love the honesty.
Yes. Yes, it has worked. And like I said, the Lord is working on me. So I'm trying to be in a space now where I don't do that. So but this is the thing. This is why I do that. Because when I first am interested in somebody interested in me, and we get getting to know each other, I tell a person up front how I am. I am that ride or die, your go-to, that loyal woman. I got your back, your front, your side, whatever, as long as the feeling you got me. But once you screw over me and you do something to hurt me, I'm gonna get you. And see, most of the time, they let it go either in one ear and out the other, or over their head, or they think I'm joking. Okay. Try me. They've tried. I got back. And then a lot of times, some of them was ready to choke me out. Touch me if you wanna. But yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get out of that. But if I'm telling you up front, man, what you what not to do, because what I'm going to do, and you turn around and you test that theory, you gonna be the one upset.
Now, what about the challenge, the chase? Most people in relationships, they like that chase, they like that challenge. So if up front you tell somebody that don't do A, B, C, and D, they're like, oh, okay, well, let me see how much she got my back. Maybe I'll try to do that. Maybe she likes me more than the last person and she'll decide to stay. Go ahead, Amber.
I feel like when people, okay, I'm just because I'm a heterosexual woman. I've never dated a woman, so I can't speak that much on like women romantic actions. But I feel like when men are, test boundaries like that, just to me it shows that they're like emotionally immature, and and it's better for them to show that in the beginning, because then you can cut your losses and move on. But I feel like boundary testing, that's something children do. A teenager tests your boundaries. Like I'm not trying to deal with an adolescent or a teenager. I'm trying to deal with an adult. So I feel like when a man starts to test boundaries, or if I say, oh, well, what do you like or what do you won't tolerate, and I tell them and they start doing things along that vein, I'm just like, okay, I might give them a warning, might bring it up, but I feel like the first few months of dating is supposed to be breezy, easy, and fun. There shouldn't have to be no serious conversations of correction. No, that's already starting to look like it's going to be a taxing, emotionally draining relationship. I ain't for it. So. Work, exactly. It's like it's gonna have to be work. If I gotta sit here and give you reminders about doing something that I'd already done told you, I don't appreciate it.
And then you come off like their mother, and you hear, I don't want to be dating my mom. Like you treat me like now, when you hear that, and I know we've all heard that, maybe not in our relationships, but in other relationships where it's like, well, she treat me like I'm her child.
Stop acting.
I'm wondering if the thought in anyone's mind is, am I acting like one? Before, you say what the problem is, it's like, what role am I playing in this?
No, I can tell you right now, been there, done that, heard it. They don't think. And then when you bring it to their attention, they get offended.
Got my books up.
Seriously. They get it when you bring it to their attention, they get offended. They seriously get offended, and it's like they go on attack mode at that point.
Okay.
I feel like that's a normal response is going attack mode to deflect or whatever. Right. But I also feel like you can't control anybody else. You can't control another adult. You can't mold people to what you want them to be. I feel like maybe when you're younger, but I feel like when you reach a certain age, it's like, anybody got time to be molding no man. Sorry. Like, I'm just going to need you to be what I need you to be from the beginning. I can't be bothered. But I feel like as women, because you can't control anybody else, you have to acknowledge your contribution to the situation, which is that, okay, you feel like he's childish for playing video games, but you knew he was playing video games from the beginning. Like,
oh, that don't bother me. Those things get done. They're supposed to get done. Go ahead. That's your boy time. That's your relaxation. It doesn't bother me. I sit there and watch. Okay. That's your relaxation. Go ahead. I'm not gonna, especially if you are doing the head of household things that you're supposed to be doing. I'm gonna let you have your time. Just like our time. Like, we go get our nails done, we go get our hair done, it's in the shop, talking, whatever women do for relaxation. That is our time. We don't want to be bothered. We don't want to be nagged, especially if we are taking care of the things that we're supposed to take care of. Then that don't bother me at all.
See, that was a bad analogy.
Sorry.
That was a bad analogy. And the reason I'm saying it was a bad analogy is because we shop, when we get our hair done, we get our nails done. Yes, we're relaxing. However, it's productive. So we are looking good for ourselves and for him. I don't see productivity in a video game. It's just me, and
Just like him, like wanting to play
I
basketball.
do word searches, so maybe somebody don't feel like it's productivity, but for me, it just keeps my brain going.
I mean, just like if they go out and like to play basketball or they go to the gym, of course you're productively exercising. Like, I mean, it's the same thing. It's just they're exercising their brain. So
Choose to do what you want to do with your time.
basically,
I get it. I do get that. My attraction is brain. I'm a brain attractor, and I'm attracted to brains. I really am.
Sapiosexual.
Yes, thank you. Yes, big time. And and some people look and be like, "Oh man, they talking to that person." That's what I like, and I want to be with someone who can teach me something. And it's almost like a circle of friends. If you're the smartest one in your circle, I need to move on. And that's real talk. I need to move on because I'm not growing. And people are life. We need to be watered. That's why I got water today. Look, my big cup of water today. I'm coming from Louisiana. You know what I mean? But we need to be watered in order to grow. And that's just what I'm attracted to. Now, I did see, it was a conversation I was having in Louisiana, matter of fact, over breakfast, which was really interesting with a few women. And we were talking about what's important to you. Now, what was important to me 20 years ago or 15 years ago is not what's important to me today. So we were having a conversation and they were talking about, I think we were talking about like money or something like that. And the girl said, well, he has to have a job. Well, I said, and it came over, I was like, well, I'm not really concerned with that. She's like, what? I'm shocked that you would say that. Here's the thing though. Having a job by this age, you're probably about to retire, so you won't have one. You know what I mean? But you have to have revenue coming in. So a guy, and I'm sure you guys heard it and saw it was a post too, where the guy ended up talking about how women, women are talking about in their older age that guys just want a nurse or a purse. Remember we talked about that? Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, women want money, so we should be able to get sex. And I said, okay. I said, I guess that's like fair exchange. And then somebody else chimed in and said, well, that's prostitution. What's your thoughts on that?
No, and this is so fresh. Now you start with me. I'm right in here. And I know a lot of women have had this experience. It's definitely not just me. I feel like women of every race, of every culture, of every socioeconomic status has where a man will approach you and just straight up be like, you trying to fuck or what? Like, excuse me? And I think you have to get past the point of being offended. I'm to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. How much are you paying me? And they're like, oh, I said, if you can so boldly ask me for sex, don't even ask my name, bruh. Don't even ask what your name is. then I'm going to need to be financially compensated. And if you look at it on like a bigger level, if you're like, talking about your morals and all that stuff, or like why women do what women do, it's like, okay, well, let's say, well, I'm not a whore. I'm not a prostitute. I would never do that. So, but what you will do in our modern sexualized society is you'll have sex with a guy either before he even gives you the title of a girlfriend or after he makes you his girlfriend, or his fiance, which is just fancy word for girlfriend, while actually not giving any commitment. So somehow in our warped society, it is more acceptable for a woman to give sex away and sexual access to their body away for free on the hope of a promise, or maybe 3 dinners, which is what, $150, $200. That's acceptable. That's socially acceptable to have sex with that man then, even though he's maybe spend $150 on you over the course of a few text messages, maybe a phone call, probably not even a phone call. That's acceptable. But for you, and it's acceptable for him to sit here and ask for sex and then pressure for sex and beg for sex that whole time period, and as I want to say, one of your guy co-hosts, I think it was Nathan, said all men want is sex. I completely agree with you. So why with him? So why would you as a woman give away the one thing that actually has value? You're supposed to give that away for free so that you cannot be labeled a prostitute or a whore. But in modern society, it's acceptable for you to give away your one valuable asset for free in exchange for a tiny bit of attention and maybe a couple $100.
And maybe a title.
Maybe a title. So women are supposed to give away sexual access for a promise. But when a woman says, no, I'm going to give you sexual access for a predetermined and agreed upon fee, well, now you have no morals. When in our modern society, women are giving sex away for free, you're having premarital sex irregardless. So, and then if you are like a more conservative woman, or you want a relationship and commitment, all this stuff, it's like you're deluding yourself into thinking you're doing something more honorable by having premarital sex in exchange for a promise instead of having premarital sex in exchange for funds. Like you're more honorable now. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Interesting you should say
saying.
that, because you know how we get the whole, well, she's a gold digger, she dating this dude for money, but you want me to sleep with little Mike down the street for free, and then I'm honorable, but I'm not getting anything from it. But
besides wet behind,
getting cheated on with Shantae, like help me, or their babies, their, I hate saying baby's mama, but their children's mother. Like, come on, what you got, Nyk?
Yeah, I agree with her. It's like everybody's okay. Oh, you're dating so and so, and they not. It's okay as long as you're giving it up for free.
And then you still cool with the neighborhood, the community.
Then you still cool with the community. But as soon as they figure out you getting something, oh, she a trick, she this, she that. Okay, I'll be that, but I'm paid. What? It's like, yeah, to me, that's crazy. Why is it okay for men to ask for sex and not expect to give anything in return? It just it doesn't make sense to me. If you are, like she said, if you bold enough to ask for some, you know what? Be bold enough to go ahead and name the price.
But I gotta say this: I can respect the guy that just flat out say it. It's pretty rude, but I can respect a guy that actually say, "This is what I want," and then we should be able to say exactly what we want.
Exactly what we want. And don't get offended, please. Because as soon as they say what they want and we get offended, we all kinds of bees and everything else. Why you tripping? Okay. So please keep that same energy when we turn that back around on you and give it to you straight and raw and uncut. Like just raw.
Go ahead, what you got?
Also, ladies, if a man approaches you and he's just like, yeah, what's up? Are you, I want to have sex with you. What's up? I'd be like, how big is your dick? Because I'm not going to go through, put on makeup, do my hair, get dressed, drive somewhere, meet you, get all my hopes up for a shrimp. Okay? So, okay. Now, if I'm being honest with you,
I have a funny story about that.
Wait, okay, Nyk, we gonna hear, but go ahead, AmberDee, what you say?
And if you think that you can sit here and just blatantly ask for sex and then lie about that and think that you're not going to get your feelings hurt when we get face to face, like, sir. And I feel like most men know that. They know they can't get around that. Like, you just be honest, because don't pretend that it's more than what it is. Like, just be honest. I don't want to have to whip out a ruler to see if he was lying or not.
You want to let me pull the ruler out.
Right.
And you know what's interesting? You can kind of tell in the conversation what they working with, because they'll be like talking about, oh, I'm this, I'm that, with fellatio. But and word up to the dudes, every chick is not into that. Every chick is not into that. I'm just gonna say that. Go ahead.
But I feel like that's all sex acts. Like, not everyone is into all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? So, and I do feel like, I feel like if they don't ever bring it up, that's usually a good sign. Because I feel like they'll at least be like, at least like one comment. Like, well, you know, I'm decent, or you know, I'm average, or whatever. I have never had any complaints, and just leave it at that. Then I'm like, okay, but if they like ever bring it up, it's a red flag. It's a red flag.
It's a red flag. Like, hold on a minute. Go ahead, Nick, what's your story?
Okay. I was living in Georgia. Man,
she gave y'all a stage geographic. We don't take it. Go ahead.
Met this guy. He's kind of cute. We started talking. Go over there one day. He was like, I want you to come over and make dinner for you. Like, okay. Went over there. He made spaghetti and salad. We ate. Had a good time drinking. Then we do. Puts his condom on. It's dark now. I'm not seeing anything. Puts his condom on. We get into it. And I'm laying there like, did you just waste your time and not feeling
in your mind?
Yes. Not feeling a thing. Okay, so he decides he has to go to the bathroom, get up, go to the bathroom. He was drunk, and apparently, I don't know what happened, but anyway, he comes back. Made another condom on. 2 weeks later, Mother Nature comes to visit. And I had to go to the bathroom. I'm wiping, and something kept wet slapping my butt. What the? Child, why did I pull out a condom? The first condom that he used, that he apparently was so drunk that he didn't remember that he even took it off to go to the bathroom. When I say snossages, how you wearing a Magnum, bro, when you working with a snossage?
I think that's a front.
For large men.
I think it's a front.
I think it's, well, okay, so I just want to, Mel, you can feel free to jump in at any moment.
Magnum on this, y'all, look, I ain't lying. A Magnum on this.
So for ladies, for your own safety, you should watch him put it on, first of all. And if it looks baggy and loose, say something, because improperly worn, like a wrong size condom is less likely to actually be effective for what it's designed for, which is to prevent pregnancy and STD exchange. So definitely, like, you should watch him, see him put the condom on, and if it's like wrinkly and loose, be like, no, boo boo.
Guess what?
Get honest.
Him
You gotta be honest here.
He didn't get it again.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would just be like infection. That's my first thought, like a UTI or something.
That was 2 weeks later though.
Oh my gosh.
Condom up there.
It must have been far.
Child, listen.
I
could have died.
2 weeks. It must have been far, Nick.
I'm like,
you'd be surprised the ER visits. No, listen, you'd be surprised the ER visits to get condoms out. You'd be surprised. It's like more common than not.
And that's because it's not right. It's not the right size, right, Mel?
Right. It felt like a tampon. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't wear a tampon. So why am I feeling it? 2 weeks. I called him and went up one side, down the other, talked about him like a dog. He was so bad at me. Like, dude, how you wearing condoms meant for somebody that's 8.5, 9 inches, and you know you ain't but 3? Yes, I did.
It's terrible.
What?
Yes,
And look at me now. That's terrible. That
I-
was crazy.
Isn't it? I thought
well,
micro penis is under 2 and under.
I could have died, man. Y'all, I could have died.
It's
True.
true though. That's what, and I feel like I'm glad you told him. I mean, I hope you told him like how serious that could be for you as a woman, but like you're literally putting someone else and your own health at risk over your ego. Not cool.
Listen. No, that was.
But, how do you tell somebody like AmberDee? You're like, just say no, boo boo. No, that's not gonna work. And then of course the defense gets there, so then they're gonna spaz out on you. And I'm sure you probably like don't care. Matter of fact, I think none of us do on this. Like, oh, your fault. But why do we blame like alcohol? Like, come on.
No, I think you again. We were talking about like health stuff. Like, yeah, it could be up there. Yeah, UTI, STD, pregnancy. What is it? Toxic shock syndrome from just having a foreign body in there. That is so dangerous. Like, screw your ego and screw your feelings twice on the block. If you were gonna do this, we're gonna do it correctly, and I don't care about your feelings. Like, don't, because that's what it is. Like, they're literally putting your life and your health and their health at risk by not using a condom correctly.
I did not care about how that man felt when I said what I said, especially when I told him he was teeny. Bruh, you can never get this again. I'm too much woman for you, obviously.
Well, can you check before? Like, how do you check before?
Hand job. So.
Child, listen.
Hey.
I'm just going, okay, let me see what you're working with. You know, be kind of like, I ain't even gonna be discreet with it. I just, let me see. Like after that, I had to. Dudes be like, hey, what you doing? Don't y'all do it?
Well, maybe they do what you see what some of the celebrities are doing now. Some of the celebrities are actually posting a picture talking about it slipped up. Like Antonio. Come on, it leaked. Antonio, who else was it? Nelly,
Ray J.
Fizz.
Who?
Lil Fizz.
That one. That one. Who else was it? Somebody else.
It wasn't quite a few of them.
Yeah, and they're just saying it leaked. And then when they get the response from air quotes for the listening audience, social media, they're like, oh, it leaked. When they didn't get the response that they didn't want. You know what I mean? Did it kind of like just disappear? But I heard Antonio, the one, the dog, remember, what was it? Keisha Cole that was liking him, right?
Yep. Well, it all, because people accused her of it.
Brown.
I think it makes sense. Yeah, and I think she was stigmatized, and it's happened to the best of us. You know, I'm not judging, but you know, a real friend's gonna go upside her head and be like, "Snap out of it! Snap out of it! Snap out of it!"
After a certain age, do you think that that's what it is? Like when you said, you just asked the question, do you got a big D? After a certain age, it's like, okay, well, if you're here for this and this is what we're going to do, I need to be sure that I'm not wasting my time. Like you said, wasting your makeup, getting all together. And like Nyk was like, that was a waste. Like, you're wasting time. Can we just go and let's see what we working with? So you said the answer is a hand job. Like, how do you
like if it's heavy?
Do you just go up and just grab, like, guys grab a chick's butt? If a guy grab your butt, you gonna grab his Johnson?
I wouldn't. I mean, if it's like a guy I don't know, like a stranger. No, I mean,
if a stranger, audience. Wait a minute, Nick. Wait, because you cut my mic off. If a stranger touches your butt, violates you, air quotes for the listening audience, is it wrong for the female to just grab him?
It's not wrong, but I wouldn't do that.
Who? I would. I have.
You have? And what was the response?
Oh, what you doing? Oh, what was you doing?
Right.
Period.
I'm not mad at that.
Like,
Go ahead, AmberDee.
I mean, not a submit, like having, like I say, like if y'all are like making out, you know what I'm saying? If he's putting his hands on you, then put your hands on him. But don't just rub his shoulders. Like, girl, you already know what his shoulders look like. You know, go for the money so you can, you know, get that question answered. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I have no problem. Listen, I have no problem with grabbing the crotch.
Okay.
She's aggressive.
I want to know what I'm working with.
Aggressive, y'all.
I want to know if I'm wasting my time. I want to know, is that makeup and that perfume and, you know, shaving and everything worth it? Because if it's not worth it, I ain't bye. Like, next. Gotta be worth something. Gotta be something. Gotta be.
Sense in increasing your numbers when it's not worth it.
Exactly. I was gonna add that to my list of drop risk, like catching another body. Like
Now, however, I will say this: I have had a few that were not well endowed, but you know, with the women, that old thing, it's not the size of the ship, but the motion of the ocean. I used to be like, yeah, whatever. Man, I done had a couple of them that motion, honey, I was seasick. Like, ooh, where'd this come from? Dude, you ain't.
Is it because you were really into them?
No, that in a little bit of it because I was into them, but a lot of because they knew what they was doing.
I want to second that. I would second that for sure.
Smack it up and rub it down for real. Like, what? That was a surprise. So yeah, it's like, because I love a well endowed man. That's all I want. I'll tell you, you ain't have nothing. But I have been with some that were not that big. But baby, let me tell you something. A geyser every single time, like whoosh, like yeah. So it's like they have to know what they're doing.
Sound effects. Look at the sound effects.
They really have to know what they're doing.
Right.
Not all men know what they're doing. I'm sorry, I don't care if you.
It's a thunderstorm.
Boom. You can be 12 inches and not know what you're doing. You can be 6 inches and run circles around a 12-inch dick. Sorry, but we grown. Please make sure your children are not around because this conversation is heavy.
Your child shouldn't have been in the room after we talked about that Martin Luther King statue.
Right.
Your child shouldn't be on that street in Boston. The way that doggone statue look, it's like
But yeah, like so that could be true. It's not always the size of the ship, but baby, it is definitely the motion of the ocean. For real, because there's been some listen, but yeah, that one right there, sausage, was not the case.
Oh, somebody probably was into him. You know how you can be into somebody? It's almost like that we're nurturers, and you be into them so much that you don't realize that it's whack because you're so into the individual. And then after y'all split up or you don't like the individual no more, you be like, oh my God, this changed. Because we know we're emotional people, so you get our mind, the body will follow. It ain't following with you, Nyk. It is what it is, or it's not.
Yes. No. No.
Go, what you got, AmberDee?
I'm more of a whole picture person. So if it's not that great, I'm gonna look at what are the positive attributes are they bringing to the table, and maybe I will like try to work with it or try to problem solve. And that's horror. I feel like it's not horrible, but it low key is horrible when you have to put that problem solving energy and mindset into your bedroom activities. Like, well, let's try to find a solution. Let's see
let's see what the 8-ball says here, because you don't got that. Okay.
Right. So I feel like I will try to, if they're like they've got a lot of other good things going for them, I will try. I'm gonna try.
The 8-ball says let it go.
Oh.
You know what though? I love the honesty because it needs to be said. And there's a lot of men out there who think all is well and that they have the woman. And once you have her, not knowing at the beginning that she was putting up with you, and be like, oh, well, they have, like you said, looking at the whole body, oh, they have a great personality. Well, they treat me this way and they do this for me. And then once you stop doing that, you don't understand what happened. And then your ego get blown up because we didn't tell you the truth. We kind of omitted some things. And then you be like, well, hold up, wait, you forgot that I was beauty and you're the beast. Like, I'm the asset here because think back. Or if you get some, and this happens a lot of women give guys chances that they would have never gave a chance to before and be like, okay, well, you know what, let me do things a little different. So you give somebody a chance and then they think they got it going on and you be like, okay, something happened here. Or they decide to go cheat or, you know what I mean, or feeling themselves and you be like, okay, who are you talking to? Like, and we keep our stuff quiet and we're like, okay, well, that's not good. Okay, you blaming this on that. Now you out all the time. So I'm not getting the things that I was getting before that actually made me say, let me give you a chance. You know what I'm saying? And then, so now you want to stop doing that like you got it going on. I'm sorry, sir. You don't have it going on. So with honesty, when she said sometimes they want to choke her out, this ain't working. Bye. I'm not here. Because you stopped doing what you were doing that made me say, okay, that ain't all together, but I'm willing to work with you. So are we dealing with this in 2023, ladies?
Listen, you know what? For us ladies, we need to realize the men really feel the same way. And I had a friend that I was dealing with. We were cool. We, did what we did, but we talked about these things. And he would tell, dude, listen, some of the females he was with, he would tell me, oh, they was garbage. So I want to know, what does it feel like for a man? I know what it feels like for a woman what does it feel like for a man, or what do you consider a garbage female, or what's good sex to you? And I've had, me and him we always used to have these talks. And he would just let me know. And he would be pointing out females. Oh, she garbage. She this, she that, she dry. I got brush burns. This, that, da 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 da. And I was like, wow. So when I would see them females, I would look at them differently, like, oh dang, girl, you need some help, baby.
You looking at the females post your guys' conversation talking about something she dry?
Yeah, and it just a lot of or sloppy or I ain't messing with her. She stank. She smell like that. Like, and I would be looking at these chicks like, oh wow, like.
I know Amber wanted to go with her thought before we get too far away, but we're gonna talk about this here smell. Go ahead. What was it that you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, still, and no, and I was just thinking as far as like your scenario with the guy you gave a chance. Like in mine, this is a fresh experience. Start talking to a guy, and you're like, oh wow, this is just putting his best foot forward, and he's looking great and everything. And then as you get to know him, you start learning all these flaws that this person has, and you're like, I still like him. It's okay. I still like him. I still like him. I still like him. I still like him. But then as time progresses, they start to, like you said, stop doing the things that made you like them in the first place. And then you're like, okay, I'm done. Because and it's not even like, oh, all your shortcomings, like you've got too many shortcomings for me to even deal with you anymore. It's not that. I've noticed your shortcomings. I acknowledged your shortcomings and still was interested in dealing with you. It's when you stopped doing your attributes, your positive things, is when I lost interest. So I don't think it's that, oh, you have to be perfect. And this is for men or for women. Like, you have to be perfect. You have to be flawless. But whatever the positive things that you're willing to do, be consistent in doing those positive things. Because I feel like when the positive things get taken off the table, that's when your partner is going to lose interest. And for women, it's like doing your hair and makeup and all that type of stuff. And giving them affirmations and things like that. And then for men, it's like, the attention, the dates, the gifts, things like that. You stop doing the positive stuff is when your partner is going to start to lose interest. I don't feel like it's usually the negative attributes overshadowed the positive attributes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'd be like, let me see, how long do I give a time limit? I do. I do. I'm all about the time. You see, I had to take my hat off because I couldn't see for a minute. Look, see what y'all looking like today, you know. I just think that some guys, because I'm heterosexual, some guys do certain things and they believe that they have you, and women are so thirsty to get married. But on this panel, we've all been there. You know what I mean? We've all had husbands. So it's like, no, you got to come correct. You can't use the same recipe that you used on somebody else who was looking to be married. And when we go back to like what my friend's grandmother said, a man, is looking for, once they hit a certain age, a nurse or a purse. Well, when you get married, it's like, oh, okay, you take care of your husband. And now you want to get married after you all broke down and your joint don't work. Like, what am I getting? And you don't even want to cater to me. You know what I mean? I don't want to get off work to go to work. I'm not interested in that. Where I believe that some men don't want to be alone.
Oh, for sure.
And if you're with somebody and, of course you want to take care of them. If it's your friend, you want to take care of your friend. You know what I mean? So, if you're in a relationship, you want to take care of them, but they have to take care of you too. It goes both ways. And I believe that most of these men are using the same recipe, and I'm using recipes hypothetically for the listening audience. You can't see my air quotes. The same recipe on a maybe divorcee, widow, that they're using on a single person. We're not thirsty to get married. We know what it's about. You know what I mean? And it's like, no. And then you have those women who have never been married and to try to tell you how you should be as a wife.
Those be the funny ones.
Now, it does. It's like, okay, that's how you would be as a wife because that's the picture that was painted. Pre-marriage, oh, okay, this is, well, I've always been me. So I'm pretty consistent. Okay, what you see is what you get. But pre-marriage is like, oh, okay, yeah, I would do A, B, C, and D. But it depends on your partner. It depends on the partner. And it's like, if you have this individual, this works for them and this doesn't. You have some men who can, you're like, okay, well, you cook for your husband, you clean, you do this and that. But you have, especially in new and improved, you got some husbands that can do that for themselves. And they're cool with it. It's like, oh, no, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the actual relationship that you guys have with each other of how you guys correspond. Now, back to what you were saying, talking about something. You said you just grab a crotch. You said you just ask. Listen here. Okay, you want to talk about, let's talk about sex. Do you have this? Do you think men, and this is, I'm asking the females, do you think men would have an issue with a woman actually asking him that question?
No. Not in my experience. I'll say not in my experience, no.
It depends on the man.
They just told you, they was like, I'm all right.
And the maturity level, yeah. Like,
if they're bold enough,
brag.
Yeah, if they're being that direct about their sexual interest, then yeah, they probably have lower boundaries in all areas. So, you said that to a degree you would kind of respect the man that's that straightforward about it. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to be that straightforward, I'm going to be that straightforward. I
think that's fair. Fair exchange is no wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
So do we have new limitations on our time?
Yes.
On our time. Do we have new limitations on it? You say yes in 2023?
Yes.
Yes. Well, because it's 2023?
Yeah.
In general. Oh no, I'd say it's pretty much the same still. I feel like I've been on the same. I feel like I have a different perspective, maybe a little bit, like an adjustment. But as far as my time limitations, no, they're still the same.
Okay, what about yours, Nick? You said yes?
Yeah, there's new adjustments now. Time is one thing that you can't get back, and I no longer have the energy to waste mine.
Okay.
Previously. So, yeah, I got limitations, and that's just what it is, period. Like, I'm still going to be straightforward and tell you, boom, 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 this is what I'm expecting. This is what I don't expect you to do. Or I'm always had that. But yeah, now my time is precious. And after 3 marriages and getting ready to be 52, I don't have any more time to waste. None.
Oh, because of the 3 marriages? That's why? You don't have time to waste?
I ain't got time to waste for nobody. I'm about to be 52 years old. I'm getting old. The 3 marriages just and the fact that I'm getting old. I don't have that kind of energy.
But isn't my question for Nyk is that more of an energy, like an energy limitation? Like you set new limits on how much energy you're going to put into X, Y, Z, but not necessarily a time thing.
No,
that's what I heard.
Energy. It's all of that. I don't have it to give any.
Okay, so hers is energy. It sounds just energy and not time.
Mm-hmm.
Shay put it in. I got the energy. I just don't have the time. And
mine is energy. It's a combination of both. I don't have it.
You doing something extra with your device, so it's probably getting warm. So check it out. Look, check it out while we finish this discussion. And I'm like, I don't want the fire to start. Well, wait a minute. So here's the thing: when you do time and energy, I have the time. I don't, and I'm going to tell you why. I'll explain it. After 2020, where we all were impacted, 2021, and once your people, you be like, oh man, they was just here today. Even though we know here today, gone tomorrow, and we all have to meet the maker. It was reality when it was so many. And you be like, oh wait, that was my homeboy. I went to school with this person. Hold on. I can't, if I see at the beginning that this is not off to a good start, I am not going to be like, give you time to get it together, because I just don't have that. I got the energy, but I ain't got the time. And I'm like, nah, that's just not going to work. When you get all correct and get your stuff together and do what it is that you want to do, because I don't believe in changing anyone. People are who they are. I also don't believe in a relationship being work. And that's just me. To me, a relationship shouldn't be work. If it is work, that's not your person. And that's just me. So there you go. Now, is marriage work? Yeah, because you guys change and evolve over time. And it's like, okay, are we going to compromise? Is this? But if you got to jump into a relationship, a brand new relationship with a compromise, that's not your person. That is just not your person. I'm like, who's doing that? Well, if you do this, I'll do that. Huh? We're not the people. We could be cool though. Deuces. That's my homie. And the line isn't crossed. You know what I mean? As far as like anything sexual. So you still cool with the individual. Going out to date, somebody going out to dinner. That's just that, dinner. Did you talk to this individual? Yeah, we talked, but that doesn't mean we slept together, because I'm not increasing my numbers. And it's like, oh, okay, well, do they deserve, or some people feel like, oh, okay, well, I guess I wasn't good enough to go to the next step. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not blurring the lines, because if you come off and you got it going on sexually, then what happens? You sit there and be like, no, I do like that. All the rest of that got to go, unless y'all have an understanding. Be like, okay, listen, this is what's going on. You date who you want to date, because we're just not the two. But we match up here. We're not the two. If you plan on going on talking to somebody else, just let me know. You know what I mean? And then vice versa. But come on, I just feel like everything got to line up. Like, don't be increasing your numbers just on GP, and you ain't getting nothing out of it. And that's how I feel.
What's GP?
General.
What?
General purposes.
General. Oh my goodness. I would say I've been on that energy for a while, as far as like not having time to waste. But I feel like going into 2023 specifically, I'm just more of a realist, maybe with a sprinkling of pessimism on top. So that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm just like, not like, okay, I don't think we're going to work out. This probably isn't going to go anywhere. Let me make sure I'm getting something out of it in the moment as things progress. Every step of the way, I am being compensated. That's where I'm at.
What's your thoughts on statuses in 2023?
Relationship status, financial
statuses. Where you have some guys that feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm a doctor. You know, they use their title and think that they are wanted. You know what I mean? Wanted, air quotes for the listening audience. Let me do it. They are most wanted when people be like, I don't care about your money. Like, you're a prick. So what's your thoughts on that? Is it still the same? Like, okay, well, they can offer me this and I'll deal with them because they have this title, so to speak. Again, air quotes.
Don't give a rat's patootie what your title is. If you are an a-hole, I don't want to deal with you. Period. You could be a billionaire, but if you are an a-hole, take that $1 billion and shove it up your
Elon Musk. What it make me think
He ain't even attractive to me. Like,
I mean, yeah, you know, but I agree. I feel like you know, for some women it's worth it, but I feel like especially as you acquire your own wealth and you start accomplishing things in life, it becomes less significant. And I feel like it is also commentary on society, on how a lot of times boys are not socialized to develop like a personality and like character. You know, they say like, oh, well, if you're a fat guy, you better be funny or something like that. Like, it's only when they have some sort of deficit they
they
realize,
do have to be funny though. A fat guy got to be funny.
like they
I'm figuring
realize that you have to bring more to the table than just your status or your wealth. And as the dynamics continue to shift in America, it's something you're going to continue to see where it's like, well, it's great you have a title, it's great you have status, but do you have poor character? Like, do you have a shitty personality? That is going to, regardless, that is going to make you finding a good partner harder. So that's for men to deal with. And the same thing goes for women. I just read this quote, and they were eavesdropping on the bus, and a mother was telling her daughter that every day you are losing your beauty, so you better figure out what else you're bringing to the table besides your looks.
Okay. Had to decide. Decisions.
Yeah.
So, what's the consensus, lovely ladies? What are we doing? Let me say this. What are we not dealing with? Because I'm sure it's less than what we're going to do. What are we not dealing with in relationships?
Confusion.
That's pretty
if
good.
I'm confused, it's bad. It's gonna be over, bro. I'm gonna turn into a puff of smoke. Like, if I'm wondering and I'm not sure, and I'm too old for
Beating around the bush.
Beating around the bush. And then, you know, a younger me would be like, well, interrogate him, ask, have a conversation. They don't talk. They don't want to have a dialogue. They're probably lying. I'm just gonna ghost. Period. Like, I'm out.
What if they're quiet?
Whatever. No. And you know, it's about consistency. So if there is a pattern change, a behavioral change, no.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so
For the indecisiveness. If you're indecisive in your relationship or your marriage, man, bye. Listen, because you're easily swayed somewhere else. If you're indecisive, you're easily swayed. Sway your ass on over there then. I don't got time.
Like a palm tree.
It's the truth though, because if you're indecisive, it's usually somebody else making the decisions.
Boom.
Or I feel like when men are indecisive, it's because they think there's something better might come along.
Boom.
Well, and that's not indecisive. That's spinning you.
That's exactly. They're spinning.
Like, okay, I'm leaving my options open. That's how people be getting the might as well ring, because they always think it's somebody better. You was about you 20 years later, then they finally be like, okay, will you marry me? I will be offended, but I ain't staying 20 years. Okay, real talk. But I'd be like, oh, okay, this is might as well ring. Like, I might as well. She's been rolling with me for this long. You know what I'm saying? I talk to a lot of guys, and we all have, and we've heard them even like when we had the men on the show as co-hosts. They were saying guys know.
Yeah.
It's for the one.
They know real quick. So there's no benefit to giving them time, money, or ass, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, what you said at the beginning, AmberDee, the one thing that they want that we can hold on to, the value that they find valuable, we give so freely and just here, like,
or giving it with in exchange for a hope, for a promise.
Yeah,
I hope I get this in exchange. No, screw that, ladies. Screw that. First of all, you're not only are you giving away the only thing that they value in you, because there has been a couple studies on how men view women as objects and tools and resources and not actual human beings. So you're taking the one thing that they actually value and you're giving away for free, and then also diminishing the value of the thing that is of value because you're catching a body. So don't do that. It is not in a woman's best interest to give away sex for free. Either make them pay or make sure you're getting something in exchange for it.
Or both.
How about hey now?
Or both.
All of the above, right?
Yes.
But even in the corporate world too is being devalued. That's why they want to. What do they call us? They want to change it to birthing persons.
Oh Jesus! See, and I feel like with the trans population, these transgender women, what they're bringing their male privilege along with them into their womanhood. They're still operating in male privilege.
So what do? We have to have a solution. We gave the issues. It's shop talk. We got to have a solution. So come on, ladies.
You gotta. Okay, so this might be a little graphic or whatever, but I would say you need to learn how to please yourself sexually as a woman. I think that's really important. I think that will help deter you from getting weak in the lust spirit.
The lust spirit.
Okay, and then just remember, I feel like you should think like a man, honestly. Act like a lady, but think like a man. Oh, one dude is cutting up on you. Wait 15 minutes, another one's coming.
Boom.
Hold on, wait, Nick, because see the mic cuts off when you cut in. What did you just say, AmberDee?
I said if a man starts messing up and not acting right on you, just wait 15 minutes. Another dude will be coming right along. Don't sit here and be pressed over no dude that is not treating you the way in which you want to be treated. Don't chase after no man, and don't be out here doing cartwheels and backflips. Prove your value to a man. If he don't see your value off the rip or isn't digging in to figure out what your value is, he ain't the one. Don't even be pressed about him. And marriage is not the end all be all. It really, truly isn't. The studies have confirmed this for women.
Okay, go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. What's your point?
I agree with her. It's what it is. Like, seriously, it is what it is. At this point, you got to get everything that you can get. If they don't see your value, after a while, you get tired of just pleasuring yourself. After a while, you're going to have to get some, especially after 4 years. But anyway, let me breathe. It's like, if they can make demands, so can we. Period.
There you go. Yeah, I agree with you on that. If they can make demands, so can we. The weird part is, how do we even give them that okay or that pass to say you make demands and we comply? Where was the ball dropped? And another question, when you said please yourself, AmberDee, what about the female who is not interested or okay with pleasing themselves, using these devices, or not okay with playing with themselves. I'm like, let's just keep it 100.
Okay, so
or have time. How about that? Or have time to do it.
Everybody got time. I feel like I would categorize it as self-care because I feel like if we're being totally honest here, okay, because it happens with men and it also happens with women, and men actually love to point it out, like, oh, she seems like she needs some dick. Like, you're real bitchy right now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that woman that doesn't want to do that, you may not want to acknowledge how much your like sexual repression and sexual frustration is impacting your personality, your energy, your mood, how other people, men and women and children, like everybody, how everyone is experiencing you and interacting with you. Like, I personally believe that, women, we have sexual urges just like men. We have sexual desires. It's natural, it's human. And when you're just completely cutting that off, like it's like you're not in balance. You're less in balance. I feel like there's like baby steps. There's different things. Like if there's certain acts you're not comfortable doing, or certain devices you're not comfortable using, okay, but find some way to release some level of pent up sexual frustration, because it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. You don't even know. Listen, while you're sitting here talking about it, I'm sitting there thinking, I hope chicks ain't out here just fingering themselves. Like, I'm gonna be looking when I be getting invited to dinner. I'll be looking like, do you cook with gloves? Like,
But you wait a minute, hold up now, because that sounds sexist. Because okay, so you don't think dudes out here jacking themselves off every day?
Yeah, they probably are, but it probably is sexist. But I'll be looking like, nah. Let me see. Did you get the brush? Like we're washing under our nails. Like, okay. Like now I'm sitting there looking like, oh, they probably pleasing. They talking about some girl. I got these ribs on the grill. I'll be like, oh. I'll make a potato salad. Oh, I'm gonna make it with gloves. Like what?
You can't eat everybody.
Yeah, right? Hey, wait, you heard the guys? Remember they was talking about it?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you look and be like, oh, I wonder what they did last night. Wonder what. Like, and it is. You are right, AmberDee. It is kind of sexist because it's almost like guys. What is it? What is it? Dirt. Wait, something snails and puppy dog tails, and girls is sugar and spice and everything nice.
What?
So I have that in my head, like, oh, she's so sweet. No. And
it's almost like you expect the man to do it, but you don't expect a woman to.
Right.
The hypocrisy.
You was like the game changed. AmberDee like the game changed. This is not.
I believe in toys while you play, whether you with somebody, whether you're not. I believe in the toys. Because sometimes you do get frustrated. You need to relieve some of that stress. But I also believe in I need the real thing. Like, yeah.
But I also another component of it is I feel like when you can please yourself or figure out, because I do feel like it's a learning curve, then you're actually taking some of your own power back. Some women believe that they can only achieve orgasm through intercourse with a man, but there's multiple ways obviously you can achieve an orgasm, and so you're actually making yourself less dependent on having a male partner or a partner in general, and more independent and more self-sufficient if you can learn how to pleasure yourself.
Is that independence, or do you find yourself going over to the other side, switching teams?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a conversation. We got 4 minutes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, switch teams, because if you can please yourself, you'll be like, okay, well, I don't need a guy. I can be with a chick.
I don't think it's so much a guy, but just a person, because like you said, I feel like a lot of people, men and women, move out of loneliness. They're like, no, I need someone, and a part of that is, okay, I can't have an orgasm. Can't give myself an orgasm. I have to have someone here to give me an orgasm. It's like, no, I can give myself an orgasm. So it's just opposite, that a different, someone outside of yourself, not necessarily a man specifically, man or a woman. A partner.
Now, watch it. This is a little different. So it was this massager thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was in Louisiana. Dude was selling it. It was amazing because he was doing my back. I felt amazing. Then he asked me, was I going to buy it? I said, well, the problem is I could purchase it, but me doing it myself, it wasn't working for me. I need somebody to hold it and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So in this sense, it will be the same concept. It's like, male can, like everybody already knows, so it's out there. Can I rub my own feet? Yeah, but it's not the same feeling.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, okay, is the mission accomplished? Mission is not accomplished because I'm thinking. I'm in my own head. Like the massager, I got to be like, oh yeah, it hurts over here or it hurts over there. But if somebody else is, it's like, oh, okay, that's the right spot. Sweet. Rub my feet. Oh, good. I can actually relax and not me actually doing it. So that's why. And then like Nyk, you said you good. You believe in some toys and seeing, people coming into the ER and getting toys removed. In my mind, because you already know I'm in my own head because I'm a thinker. I'm looking at the batteries and, like if a battery gets wet, the battery turns green, the acid, So I'm looking like, oh man, it might leak acid. Like what? I got all that stuff in my head. You know what I mean? It's like, hold on. Now my homegirl, she's a lesbian and she wears a strap on. Now, kudos to her, and I ain't gonna say her name. Kudos to her because she's all in. She wear her strap on just like on a Tuesday, like just walking down the street. Yeah, it'd be all strapped on already. I was like, what is that? I was like, did you have the surgery? Wait, I asked if she had the surgery. I was like, did you have the surgery? She was like, oh no, she's like, girl, it's my strap. But she was grabbing it and it was something in her hand. And that's what she told me. She's like, oh, I wear mine, I stay ready. I said, I heard that. So she all in, you know what I'm saying? It's a strap on and it's not disconnected. So somebody somewhere got to be a participant. So that's why I said I couldn't be gay. Like, no. And the whole fellatio thing, and I'm putting my business out there. I'll be telling everybody else that I can tell mine. I'm just not that interested in it.
Maybe you haven't had talent.
But you have people to say, they be like, you just didn't have the right person. Well, I ain't about to just try like 20 dudes to see if they the right person.
Right.
I'm like, it's not.
But I would just say and I completely agree with you. Like, but just be open to like it could be the person. You know what I'm saying? Not
just like all guys are into having their banana sucked on. You know what I'm saying? I had somebody tell me that they're not really into that.
Now, see, and everybody's not, and that's a good thing. Because everybody ain't into doing it.
Listen.
And see, that's why we thinking dudes that like to go down and talk about how cold they are and all that stuff. I was like, they short.
Yeah.
Head and shoulders.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just the tip of the balls, head and shoulders.
You definitely got to know what you're doing when you're doing that. There's some that you be like, man, just move, flick them in the top of your head.
You flicking them, Nyk? Nyk, flick them forehead. Flicking them on the forehead. Get out of here.
Right on top of the head. Move. What you doing? And then I had somebody that I had to run from.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I heard.
I'm a runner. I'll run. If it's good, I'm going to run.
Okay. Look, Crazy Daisy. Off the chain. Look, ladies. Talk about something she had to run from. Like, hey, this is what it is. Let me give you today's Q-tips real quick because I didn't do that. I was talking about on Be Inspired self-sabotaging. We have to stop sabotaging ourselves. We have to speak positivity. We have to think about what we say before we say it because words have life. So I challenge my listeners to speak positivity If there's something that you want to do, don't give excuses as to why you are not doing it or why you cannot do it. No excuses. Excuses are monuments of nothing. So what I would like for you to do, this is the challenge, is to say why you can do it. And don't focus on what could happen wrong. Focus on what can happen right, because we already know we see our obstacles when we stop focusing on the goal. All right. That's today's Q-tips. Positivity. And even if you don't have a vision board, some people like having vision boards. I don't like stuff all over the place, but I do have affirmations in frames, like portraits in my place. And I also have like statues. Let's say one says chill, one has thumbs up, just little reminders when you look around. So if you come into my place, you'll be able to see what you guys get to see. All the excitement and the fun stuff. I'm not a pessimist, I'm an optimist. So I want you guys to achieve your goals. So today's footnote is the topic. Let me say the topic of today's show is ready, set, let it go. Let go of all the things that you can't control. Let go of all the negativity. If it didn't work for you before, ain't no sense in you continuing trying to go forth. And I know you're probably like, well, wait, you just said this. This is totally different. Even in a relationship, if it's not working for you, time is something you can't get back. Nyk said it. Okay. Time is something you can't get back. Just move forward. That doesn't mean that we have to be enemies, but we're not moving forward because you may be blocking your actual blessing. Okay. So today's footnote is progress lies not in enhancing what is, but in advancing toward what will be. And that's from Khalil Gibran. Okay. So you guys check that out. Listen, I love you guys. I truly do, for tuning in to Shop Talk with Mel, for subscribing to the YouTube page. You can follow us on your favorite podcast, like I said at the beginning of the show, at Shop Talk with Mel, and it is free. Today's show is for a viewer and listener. She passed away, and her name is it Leola, her real name? Leola Pugh. So rest in peace, darling. And we on Shop Talk with Mel, we will definitely miss you and your comments and all that good stuff that used to be there. Listen, Nyk said it. Y'all heard her. We was talking about time. You see my little time hat from Louisiana. Time is something you can't get back. So make sure that you live your life positively, okay? All right. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always love you. Until next week, people, you know what it is. On the count of three, ladies. 1, 2, 3.
Shop,
We